For question number 1, add up all of the numbers in the left column. So let's see, those are all zeros. This is hard to do on an iPad. 7, 8, 9, and 5 is 14. Carry the 1. That's 5 and 5 and 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 6, 7, 8, and 2 is 10. So 105, 400. 105, 400. This is hard on an iPad, plus my thumb is really sore from being broken. So let's see. If I have 105, oh sorry, that's 3 zeros. 4000. 1,054,000. And then the total of those two is 333,000. And I need a number to make up the difference. So 3 from 4 is 1, 3 from 5 is 2, and 3 from 10 is 7. So it looks like this is 721,000. Question number 2. This one, if you've got a piece of land that's 60 by 80, the number of square feet in that parcel is 60 times 80. 6 times 8 is 48, with 2 zeros, 4,800. And you could also do it the traditional way. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 8 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 8 is 48. Carry everything down, and you get 4,800. I don't have any room left, but that's the answer, 4,800. So question 3, there's 4,800 square feet in the lot. It's selling at $6.25 per square foot. I hope I've left myself enough room here. I'll have to write a little smaller. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40, so I carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, so that's 24. I'll try to keep things lined up here. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 8 is 16, 2 times, oh I gotta carry the 1, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 8 is 48, carry the 4, 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 is 28. Carry everything down. I know this looks like a child is drawing it, but that's because this is how the iPad works. 6 and 4 is 10, and 8 and 9 is 17, 18, 19, 20. Carry the 2, 8, 9, 10, carry the 1, 3. So, and there's 2 decimal points, 1, 2, right there. So that means the land will be $30,000 even. Let's see. $625,000 in profits, and 2 people in the partnership. 2 goes into 6 3 times, which is 6, and has nothing left over. Carry down the 2. 2 goes into 2 once, just 2 with nothing left over. 2 goes into 5 twice, which is 4, has 1 left over, carry down the 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. I'm up near the top of the drawing place on the iPad. 2 is 5, and that's 10. And there's nothing left over, but there's still 2 zeros here. So the answer is 312,500. Well, let's see. If you drive 400 miles and you get 52 cents per mile, it should be something around $200. It'll be a little bit more than $200. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20. 00802. I'm just adding these columns down like that. And there's 2 decimal points. So I go over 1, 2, and it is $208. Even. Which, if I was just estimating, if I get half a dollar for every mile I drive, and I drive 400 miles, I expected it to be around $208. This one may have been kind of poorly worded, but there was a cheesecake in the fridge, and most of it was eaten, so there was only a quarter of it left right there, a quarter of a cheesecake. And the waiter, or I think this should actually say the server, brought it to me and 3 friends. That's 4 people. And we're going to split it evenly. So we've got a quarter of a pie. Let me draw it like this. We got a quarter of a pie and we're splitting it 4 ways. 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths, in other words. There's no easy way to figure this out. But if you take 1 quarter and divide it by 4 people, I know that seems kind of weird. 4 is actually 4 over 1. And to divide a fraction, take the second number and invert it. And then multiply. So division is the opposite of multiplication. In other words, if you take 1 quarter and multiply it by the inverse of 4 over 1, which is 1 quarter, you get, I'm going to have to do this over here, 1/16. Each person gets 1/16 of a pie. It's hard to see because that's a lot of pie cutting. I'll do my very best. But here's the quarter of the pie, split into 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each person gets, see there's 16, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pieces of pie. That's kind of how I cut a pie. And so each person's going to get 1/16 of a piece of pie. This was badly worded. The restaurant is charging us $5 for the cheesecake. And we all agree to add $1 for the tip. So actually, not each person adding $1. That's a nice tip, but it was really just $1. So $6 total, and there's 4 people. So 6 divided by 4. Let's see, 4 goes into 6. $6. 4 goes into 6 once, which gives me 4, and a remainder of 2. 50. So $1.50. That makes sense to me. If I throw in $1.50 and you throw in $1.50 and our other friend throws in $1.50 and our other friend throws in $1.50, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $6. And that should cover it. And I know this one was poorly worded because most of you, if you were actually out in the restaurant and you got a bill for $5 and you said, "Oh, let's throw in $1 for a tip," and split it evenly, that you would probably come to this answer fairly naturally, or you always hand this off to the business major to have them figure it out. This is another one of those questions. If your kids were in the back of the car and they were saying, "How much longer is it?" and you knew that this is just kind of poorly worded too. But what I did was I Googled the distance between Walla Walla and Boise, and it said it's 259 miles actually. And it takes about 4 hours, so I was just kind of roughing this out. But if you know that a trip takes 4 hours, excuse me, and you drive from Walla Walla to Pendleton, and that's really what I meant, and 1 hour has gone by, and the kids are in the back, and they're saying, "How much farther is it?" They don't really care how many miles it is, they just want to know how much longer it is. So it's another 3 hours. And you've gone 1/4 of the way as far as time goes, and I should have said how far have you gone. Sounds like miles, but really what I meant was how long have you been driving out of the total. So it's really 1 hour out of the total of 4 hours, which is you're a quarter of the way as far as time goes. 1 hour into a 4-hour trip. 3 hours left to go, so you still have 3/4 of the trip to go. This was another one of those questions I didn't proofread very well. These should have been changed. But the idea was to add these fractions. And the first step in adding fractions is to come up with a common denominator. The book gives you several different ways, and you can go on the web and figure out several different really cool techniques to come up with least common denominator. I can visually, just by examining, determine that the least common denominator here is 10. In other words, 8 and 2/5 is the same as 8 and 4/10. What I did was I multiplied the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2 so that I get the fraction restated. It's the same number. 8 and 2/5 is the same number as 8 and 4/10, but I'm trying to get a denominator that is the same on all three fractions. 10 and 1/2 is going to come out to be 10 and 5/10. Notice that 5/10 is still half. If you've got a pie in 10 pieces, 5 of them are going to be half of the pieces. But now I have 8 and 4/10 plus 15 and 3/10 plus 10 and 5/10. That's the first step. Then it's simply adding the numerators 5, 3, and 4, which is 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me just double check that. 4 and 7, 12. 12/10. Sorry. I think it's 12/10. So I have 12/10. And then add these whole numbers. 15 and 10 is 25, and 8 is 33. 33 and 12/10. And 12/10 is an improper fraction. 12/10 is actually, let me write it up here, 10/10, which is 1, and 2/10, which is 1/5. So that's 1, and I can just add it to this 33. So that makes that 34. And 2/10 should be reduced the same way we came up with exactly the opposite way that we came up with the common denominator. If I divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, I get 1/5. Okay, 34 and 1/5. That's what I think the answer is for this question. This one was a lot of hard math. What I would suggest, if I was doing this, is to take this number and maybe just round it to 120, or round it to 119.62. Just to make this quick, I'm going to round it to 120 yen per dollar. 1 US dollar is 120 yen. That means that 250 US dollars, 0 times 0 is 0. Alright, I don't have to do all that. I can just go 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and then this is a 250, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3. Holy cow, what have I got here? 30,000 yen. I know I did this kind of quickly, and you could put 250 times 119.615777 and do all that. And I actually did that while you were all taking the test, and I said, wow, that's a lot of work. It comes out to about 30,000 yen. And I know that seems like a lot, but that is how the Japanese yen works. 30,000, I think this is the symbol for yen, looks something like that. 30,000 yen is roughly equivalent to 250 US dollars.